All right. Welcome, everybody, to Real Raw Health with your host, Nikki Burnett of Taste Life Nutrition and Matt Rowe of Parsley Pet. During our show, we are talking about your pet's health, raw feeding, and the health our pets bring to us with love. And Nikki and I do talk a little bit about human health too, because we can't get away from that. And that's just something we're both passionate about. So, welcome, Nikki, to this week's show.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. This is going to be a good one. I'm excited.
Yeah. So, what is the title of the show today, Nikki?
Why are my dog's teeth falling out? Or, we could say, why are my dog's teeth dirty? Why are they yellow? Why do they have tartar? Do I really need to get them cleaned every year? I think we can take it in a lot of different directions.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And, when you look at, you want your dog to be healthy. And so when you see their teeth fall out, and this could be for an aging animal, but we're seeing dogs at 6, 7 years of age that are already showing that heavy tartar build on the teeth. And then also on another side of that as well is they are either extracting them at the vet or they're falling out on their own. And so when you look at dental disease or dental things that happen with us, with your dogs, that actually has direct nerves that go up into your brain. So if your teeth are upset, imagine your dog who can't communicate with you with teeth that are just sore and hurt and what they're eating. And then they're eating this dry kibble product. You're not feeding them yogurt. I mean, you're not feeding them, pudding or ice cream or stuff like that. You're feeding them, once again, that hard kibble product, and they're having to chew it. And oftentimes they just swallow it.
Yeah, I have a story that maybe we could start with that I think is really interesting. And I didn't even think about it until just now, which is kind of funny. But so my girl Daisy, we brought her in. She was a rescue and we were just going to foster her, and she had heartworm. So we brought her in to care for her, and we had the guidance of a vet, but we did not do your typical heartworm treatment. We did a little more holistic, a little more easier on the body, a little, she didn't have to be kenneled all the time, and kind of these bad, terrible things that we have to do. But with heartworms, and we knew she had bad breath, her teeth were a mess. But with heartworm, you can't put them under. And this is a situation where that she has to have her teeth cleaned. We'll get into this, but I'm not a fan of the yearly teeth cleaning. Yeah. But this is a situation where they were pretty nasty and you could just tell. And so we worked on this poor dog. My heart hurts even thinking about this, but we worked on her heartworm I think it was about a year and a half. And she was always mellow, easygoing, but she would snip at one of the dogs a little bit and, just didn't want to play, didn't want to do anything. We finally got her to a point to where she was clear. She has some damage, but we could put her under and we can get her teeth cleaned. Yeah. So ended up, she was so infected and she had broken teeth. She'd been shot in the face. And so she had all these broken teeth and abscesses. It was an intense cleaning process and removing teeth and all of the damage.
And I think Nikki froze up a little bit. So yeah, and think about that.
Uh-oh, now we're both frozen.
That can be in that moment. Yeah. All right, you're back.
Okay, good. I know, then you froze. What's happening? So we brought her home, healed her up. This dog now, she's learning how to play. She actually will pick up toys. She'll play with the other dogs. She'll run around. She's still not sure what to do, but it made such an impact on her health. I can imagine she was in so much pain that it breaks my heart to even think about it. And so it affects them. It affects everything about them. And the thing we have to remember too, and we know this about ourselves, not everybody, I don't know that everybody really understands it, but if we have bacteria buildup in our teeth, it goes directly into the bloodstream. So we have an oral microbiota. We have good, healthy bugs, or we're supposed to have good, healthy bugs in our mouth and in our nose. I mean, we have bugs all over us, right? And so we want those to be healthy and balanced. And when they get imbalanced with the unhealthy pathogenic bacteria, for one, it can create disease. For two, but it goes into the bloodstream, cardiovascular disease, and it becomes systemic, and it's inflammatory, and it is deadly, and it's a problem for us. A lot of cardiovascular disease, and I would say this for dogs. I've not heard this, but it's the same biochemistry. But if it can, a dirty mouth, an unclean mouth, an infected mouth can create cardiovascular disease, heart attacks and strokes. Yeah.
Right. Well, and even if you look at the sheer amount of inflammation and the toxins that are in our environment, what's around us, if we are translating that now that the dental issues start to spike and come up, that's just another toxin that's entering the system. And that's really, as a cascade of ailments, is, things that we've talked about, is it's usually not just one thing that causes the issue. It's stacking. You are putting 4, 5, 6 things together. Then all of a sudden our dog gets unhealthy and we're like, oh, what caused it? Well, when you're really thinking about it, is you got to almost go back to the root of that cause of why this might be happening. So what do you think on one side? What is your opinion on why our dogs get such that heavy yellow tartar buildup, and it starts in the back of the teeth and it starts to creep up in, and then you start to see it, creep up into the front canines? What do you think one of the attributing factors is to dental disease for a dog?
I think so I think that there are multiple factors. One is they're not getting to chew on bones. Two is the fact that they're eating kibble. So kibble just in and of itself is going to create it when, listen to this and pay super close attention to this. Kibble does not clean, and I know you know this, Matt, I'm talking to everybody else. But kibble does not clean teeth. It's such a terrible, rude, mean marketing gimmick to tell people to feed your dogs kibble because it cleans their teeth, when it absolutely does not. It is more damaging than anything else that we could do. So another thing that can happen is, so I had another one of my dogs. So Sage, we did have to get her teeth cleaned. She had an infection, they're all rescues. So she had an infection up here. Ended up, she had somebody else's tooth in her gum line or inside her teeth. It was bizarre. Dog fight or something, I don't know. So crazy, but they had to remove that, and then they had to remove another tooth. With that, what happened is, this is the bottom or the top, whatever it is. So that was the top. So she has a bottom tooth that doesn't get cleaned by the top tooth because there's nothing there. Does that make sense? So that's the only tooth that she has. And I only just learned this. I just thought this was super cool, but that's the only tooth that she has that's got a tartar buildup because she doesn't have her own tooth to help to clean that off. So interesting. Yeah. So I think of the, bones, giving our dogs bones, and it's got to be, big, round beef or bison bones. We don't do chicken. Well, we do chicken bones, but we don't do cooked. For chewing, we want these really hefty bones. Give them to them frozen, let them chew on it, let them get the marrow out of it. And then they have that bone to chew on for however long the bone lasts. I mean, they'll kind of last for forever, but getting those new frozen bones periodically for them to chew on is great for their teeth.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And, and Nikki talked about the bone thing. So first and foremost, we want to let you know, don't cook chicken bones. They splinter. But chicken bones fed with meat on them, raw, is okay. You can get away with that. And you basically do a size appropriate. So if I have a big dog, I have a 70-pound Catahoula, I might take a whole chicken leg with meat all on it, like I got it right from the package, and I'll throw it out in the back for Leo and let Leo chew on it. But he's impacting that bone in all of that muscle meat and the tendons and everything, just like he was wild, and that he gets away with eating a chicken bone that way. And I've confirmed with doctors, I've confirmed down the road. I keep asking this question. They're like, yes, Matt, dogs can eat chicken bones as long as they are uncooked. So then that goes into like the big femur bones that you talked about, is, those big bones that you'd want to give a bigger dog. just make sure they're raw, uncooked bones. Is once again, anything cooked gets softer, and your dog is just a maniac on a bone. Like they will
Yeah.
chew, crush and break, and that's their goal. Is that's what they want to do. So if you give them that bone, but because they're maniac on that bone and they're chewing and scraping and doing all that stuff, the edge of that bone is cleaning the teeth. So
Right.
yes, regular bones. When it comes to dental chews, greenies or any other type of dental chew is a no. Don't feed it. It's really, it's something that they're going to get into their stomach lining. And also on another side, rawhide is not a bone.
Do not feed raw.
Rawhide is really, really bad for your dog. At points, they can't digest it and it sits in their stomach. And so it just sits and can cause some bowel obstructions. So really, don't feed raw bones. Don't feed the greeny dental chews. Those are bad for your dog too. Just really take a frozen raw bone that you would get out of your local dog store, out of the case out of there, but it just make sure it's a raw, uncooked bone with the marrow in it. And like even our bones have like meat still on the outside of it, and they just like, and we just throw them in the backyard, and that really just becomes a great toy for them to actually chew on. And it's really, dogs get interested. Now if your dog is not interested in bones, there's some other ways that you can get around it. You can get the little toothbrush thing. I have a Chihuahua, Nikki. I like my finger, so I'm not going to stick my finger in that dog's mouth because I will be massacred. There will be scars all over my hands for doing so.
You might lose your finger.
Yeah, I'm going to lose a finger. But with your pups, they probably would allow you to go in there and kind of brush their teeth a little bit. So bones that are uncooked are great. And then on another side is you brush their teeth if you can, avoid rawhide and avoid like the greeny chews and stuff like that. Those aren't good.
Yeah.
So really when you're looking at this stuff, but then you're looking at, dental health, I believe is very important. And why your dog is losing these teeth is they're eating a kibble-based product that is going to create more saliva. It's actually going to create more, because of the high carbohydrate content, that is naturally going to come and get on the teeth as they break those kibble pieces apart. So I bet you anybody who regularly watches our show could say the next statement that I want to say. Feed your dog raw.
Feed your dog raw.
Feed your dog raw. I know, like for Leo being he's going to be 7-year-old Catahoula, we've never had his teeth cleaned, and we rescued him after the first year. He has not built up any tartar after that first year. It has remained because at some point you're not allowing that carbohydrate kibble-based sugar to actually sit on the teeth itself and actually start to create that tartar buildup. So avoiding kibble, it can be a great way to keep your dog out of the vet from having to have their teeth cleaned once again. So
think about this thought in our world, or this, I don't know if it's a thought or it's a push to get our dogs, have these dogs, get their yearly dentals. And so dental cleaning. And so what we're doing is we're taking these dogs yearly, putting them under anesthesia yearly. This is already damaging. It affects the brain. It affects all organs. I mean, this isn't a benign procedure. It's really scary. I had, I talk about my boys who I learned on, and, I learned how to feed them raw, and I've always continue to learn, but there were a few times I did clean their teeth. And one time they almost didn't come out of anesthesia, both of them. And so, And so I don't know. And I'll also tell you, can I name somebody, a brand that I don't like? Is that legal?
You know what? The only thing they can do is send us a letter, cease and desist. So have at it.
Okay. I think Banfield is a terrible pet hospital. I think that what they do is, and I have a whole story that's not related, but I think they use antiquated products and antiquated procedures, and they do whatever they can to save money. And I had insurance with them because I didn't know better. And they were not good to my dogs, and they don't listen, and it's just in and out. It's the rotating door. Anyway, so that's my opinion. I'm sure it's not everybody's opinion, but I'm going to put it out there because I had multiple terrible experiences, including with a cancer diagnosis that should have been diagnosed and wasn't. So I just think the way that they do business is awful. So my point to that is just be careful with who you take your dog to for any procedure. Know what they're using, know that it's up to date, and trust them, because these are things that are just, I mean, it can be life and death when it's just a simple dental, which is not simple again. There's another point, but go ahead on because I don't remember what it was.
Well, you think of that. No, you bring up a great point. For you to go to your vet, is your vet and you should have a relationship. And you guys both should have a relationship with your dog, including your vet. So that's why I tend to lean towards holistic veterinary practitioners, is because they're going to spend that little bit of extra time with you, and they're going to get to know you. They're going to actually hear your concerns and listen to your concerns as you walk down that road. And they're going to recommend, honestly, whether or not you should have dental work done. And if you do, how it can be done safely in those lines, and whether or not it's at a critical point, a medium, or hey, just give them some bones and they'll start to remove that plaque off themselves. So they're going to elevate that the right way, but they're also going to, they're going to give the anesthetic appropriately. They're going to, I forget what they call it when I mean, with dogs, I can't say put them to sleep or euthanize. That's terrible. That's actually the end of life and going across the rainbow bridge. This is as they
anesthetize.
Thank you very much.
Okay,
that's brilliant.
Welcome.
That's the word I wanted. So really, as they anesthetize them, and I can't even say it correctly.
It's a hard one. I know.
So as they do that, they're going to actually walk through and know that your dog has been sensitive to that in the past. So then when they go into that next step, they can put the dosages correctly, instead of actually just saying, okay, we got another dental work coming, and it's rote repetition. Have a vet that's going to take time with you. And conventional vets, there are some incredible ones out there that will, but just make sure your vet is taking that time to listen to you.
It's true. I mean, it's just like, allopathic medicine versus functional medicine and, nutrition, because, there's most of us in the functional world, we don't take insurance, but we spend all the time that you need on you. And we do the same with the dogs. The intent is to know you, know what you need, know the dog, know what the dog needs, communicate, spend the time, dig into whatever the problem is, and find a solution. And it's not always that way. So being super aware. And my girls now have never, except for the one dental, because Daisy's teeth were so messed up. Their teeth are beautiful. And that one where I want to get to this. This is really cool. But that one tooth that Sage has, it's got that build up. So I need to work on that, right? I want to get that off. And so my vet says, enzymes are great, just get an enzyme toothpaste. So I started, because I look at their teeth all the time and I don't see buildup on any of them. So I don't worry too much, except for that one. So as I started to research, there's some good, let's see, I want to go to the article that I was reading. So there are some really good toothpastes. So this one I found, it's called Animal Wellness, and it's not one that I know, but it's by Dr. Diva Khalsa. Anyway, nobody I know, but I want to put it out there because I think it's a good article, but talking about enzymes. But what she said, I think is she, sometimes I'm not sure, but you take an enzyme and take a little pack of it and just put it between the cheek and the tooth and let it sit there. And so the enzymes will break up, but then also digest that tartar. And so it's pulled out.
Interesting.
So super interesting, because the dog, they can't really get it out if you put it there between the cheek, and it's just going to sit there and do its job. And so you can do that if you have a dog. So if you're moving over into trying to understand, what you can do besides, doing the yearly exams, and you're trying to move over from kibble to raw, and you're doing all of these things, this is a great way to, for, a week or so. And I believe that's what it says, is for a week, do one side here, for a week, do here, for a week, do here, for a week, do here. And you should be good. And you just got to get that little pill or that little pack of, I don't know if a pill, but if you're able to just get it in there, it should just eat it away and digest it. It's like, that's the coolest thing.
That is really cool. And you should be able to get those at your local pet store.
Yes. I think there are some for pets. I don't always trust pet products. So be careful, be aware. A lot of the products that I use for my dogs are human grade. They're human products, except something like their vitamins and their liver support and stuff like that. So with Daisy, we just got her spayed. We're doing pretty consistent liver support for a while because she was under anesthesia. So, things to think about. And so other things that they talk about, of course, are essential oils that can be good, and toothpaste. And there's homeopathy. I hadn't heard this either. So Fragaria, Fragaria. So Fragaria 6X, it's a homeopathic. That's supposed to be really good for tartar buildup as well. So yeah, super cool stuff. One last thing. Oh, yes. Go ahead, because
you're
running.
You're on the thread, girl. You got it.
This might not be as much of a thing as it used to be, but back, 12, 15 years ago, the thing was to put stuff in your dog's water. Your dogs will, take it up with their water and it'll clean their teeth. Sure. One of the products was a product that had xylitol in it, and it was specifically for dogs.
Oh, God.
Xylitol is deadly. Xylitol it's not proven yet, but may be healthy for our teeth, but for dogs, it will kill them, and it'll kill them fast. Yeah. I went to the vet. Again, it was back at that time, and we were talking about my dogs. He's like, here, you need this. And it was that xylitol. And he had no idea. I was like, that has xylitol in it. He said, yeah. So I had to tell him, never, ever sell this. And so he actually went right then, got on his computer, did his research. He's like, I had no idea. So we have to be really careful. I don't know if dogs died from that product, but they die a lot because they get into xylitol gum and xylitol candies and things like that we leave around. And it's a big, big problem. So yeah, definitely look out for xylitol. It's just one of them. And thanks for saying that, because between you and me, Nikki, if I didn't know this until about a year ago, that xylitol was that big of an issue for dogs. And then once I found out, we actually hid the gum in our house, and definitely educated our children not to leave this stuff down over what can happen. So yeah, that's something that is definitely pay attention to. And especially if you go to your vet and they're recommending this product, educate them, let them know, hey, I heard this, I looked it up, and you could probably type in a Google search, xylitol dogs, just in a Google search. I did. Yeah. And it'll be galore independent research out there that'll tell you this. So definitely make a point, educate your vet, let them know, hey, this is something, if they do recommend, and pull that, the same thing as they did with Nikki, is really, you have an opportunity to help more dogs out there. So definitely take that chance. Yeah. It's really about, just like we do for ourselves, reading the ingredients, knowing what you're putting in your dog's mouth. And for dogs, even, we tend to eat some things with more ingredients. Dogs' ingredients are really even more simple than ours, raw meat and raw organ and raw bone and maybe a little bit of veg, unless you want to give them fur. Yeah. Which you can buy that. Yeah. Yeah. Let's go buy some fur. Yeah. I think there's other ways. I prefer a tablespoon of pumpkin, but for the fiber. Yeah. It's good. Yeah. But, with all of that stuff, your dog's mouth health is just as important as your mouth health.
So if your dog is starting to see recurring, their teeth are being lost and stuff, take a look at the diet as a first step, as saying, okay, what am I feeding my dog? What is crossing the mouth in there, and what could be causing it? This is not something that all dogs have. And so this is dogs that are fed raw have less incidences of dental problems or dental issues as dogs that are kibble fed. So take a look at what you're feeding your dog. And then the next step is what kind of bone habit, and I'm going to say it is a habit because I know that once I run out of bones, I'll forget about it for a month and I won't buy more. But really, is what kind of bone habit are you putting it out once a week, twice a week for your dog to clean their own teeth? We have the glory of brushing our own teeth every day, hopefully twice a day. So your dog doesn't. It's not like they have opposable thumbs where they grab the brush. So then definitely the enzymatic pack on being able to put the enzymes in that gum line to start eating away that tartar and let them just get it off their tooth and digest it. So you paying attention to proper dental health, and if you can brush your dog's teeth, brush them. If you can feed them bone on that kind of side. And if you can remove kibble from their diet, remove kibble. Allow a good raw fed diet to actually go and promote and not increase the dental issues that they may have.
Yeah. I think a point, and I don't know that we've talked about this, so I'm kind of wanting your opinion as well. But my opinion is, when I tell people, so they need bone and organ and meat and all of the stuff, they ask me, can a dog, if a dog's chewing on bone, is that enough mineral content for them? And my opinion is no, because they might get a few little chips here and there, but they're not actually ingesting enough of that bone, because what we're giving them is a big hard bone. It's not really supposed to chip.
Right. And that's right. When you look at bone content, should attribute to minimum 10% of their diet to 12 to 15% of their diet is what I push for Leo and Mr. Chacha. And when I had them tested recently, about 30 days ago, they showed all their levels were right in the middle. They looked really happy, healthy. And also I supplement with a bone once a week for Leo and Mr. Chacha. But like you said, he's not getting big chunks off of that bone.
Right.
And the little bit he does is not going to throw it over on the other side. So just feeding bone alone without supplementing bone content in their meal is not enough.
Right. One more thing, since we're talking about bone, I think that it's important to throw out there. Is kind of related, but minerals are important for bone health as well.
Yeah.
One of the things that I think would make life really easy if for teaching people how to cook or how to prepare raw meals, because there's bone powder everywhere. We can all get bone powder. The problem is when we see bone powder, and I don't know how to determine if it's good or not, most of it is really high in fluoride, and it's been bleached, and it's got chemicals and all of those things. So just in case you're out there, and think about this for yourselves too, because some people are told, for your minerals, take bone meal, but you've got to be super aware of where it's coming from, because it might just be introducing a lot more chemicals. Fluoride sits in the bone, which is why when dogs ingest a lot of it, increases that potential for osteosarcoma or bone cancer. And so just something to be really aware of. And if anybody out there knows of a good quality bone meal that doesn't have all this stuff, then I would love to know about it. I think that would be great. But at this point, I just don't take the chance.
Yeah. So that's really down to knowing the source. And I bet you if you have a good butcher, they'll grind bone for you.
Yeah, that's what we do.
So really is, there's nothing wrong with having your bone ground by itself, but that goes into not only just knowing your vet, know your butcher.
Yeah, absolutely.
Get to know your butcher, because they're going to be one of your pet's best health advocates. When they are sourcing your meat, you know where your meat's coming from. They're grinding the bone. You're not having to buy it. So this is something on those lines, is you're not taking the chance if you get to know your butcher, get to know where it is. And I think as a society, as we start to bring it back down and not go after the commercial aspect and promote our local businesses out there that are the butchers, the bakers, I could sing the song, but I'm not going to sing it, Nikki.
Do it. Come on.
No, hell no. So,
Love it.
So get to know your local suppliers and get to know your local vets too. And that's where I support Holistic so much, because these are individuals that are really out there looking, saw something wasn't quite right with the way conventional veterinary medicine was being practiced, and they wanted to go look at it a different way. And that's where I support my local holistic vets as much as possible.
Absolutely. Totally agree.
Well, thank you, Nikki, for the show today. I think this is awesome. And what is the best way for somebody to get a hold of you?
I'm Taste Life Nutrition everywhere. So tastelifenutrition.com, Taste Life Nutrition, all the social media. I'm just trying to get out there more and more as much as I can. And of course, we do this every week, which is always amazing and fun.
Yeah, this one's just fun. Yeah, we just have a good time every week.
Yeah, good stuff.
So yeah, Taste Life, definitely check out Nikki. Keep an eye out. She's got a course coming up all about sugar. And put you through the 5-day challenge, and just, do a 5-day challenge with your dog. Is at some point you go through yours and then start feeding your dog raw. And so you guys are both improving each other's health at the same time. So definitely check out Taste Life Nutrition, everything Nikki's doing. You can always follow us at parsleypet.com. Follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. And this is stuff where we test minerals inside your dog to make sure that you are feeding them the diet that is ideal for them. So thank you very much, Nikki, for being on the show today. I appreciate doing this with you.
Me too. It was good stuff. Thank you. Bye, everybody.
Awesome.
See you next week.
See you guys later.